Hello everybody and welcome to the King Leo Show. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing today? Let's check if the audio's okay. 1 second here. Hello everybody and welcome to the King. Audio's perfect. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Audio Vibes? Happy to see you there. Hello everyone. We have a lot to get through today, man. Like a lot to get through. So I think we're going to have to go right into it. Before we do that though, how are you guys doing? Good start of the week. Good start of the week. As usual, let me do a little shilling here. I got to do a little shilling. So our Patreon is open for business. I added another tier here. 1 second. Let me see here. Cool. So here we can see the close-up. So I added this tier, which is $5. It's to support the show. I'll DM you once you join. And I don't really know what else to do. You know, for $19.99, we have the Discord, which is over here. Join the Discord, guys. The link will be in the description of this video or any other. If you notice, I did a lot of housekeeping today, and I cleaned up the YouTube channel.
Someone make it hurt.
I cleaned up the YouTube channel. So it's actually looking a lot better. It's a lot more organized. It was a pain to do. But yeah, here you have the Patreon. That gives me a lot more time to do cool things in order to keep the content going. How's everyone doing today? All right, so we have to get to, since we have a lot, man. I'm impressed with how much we have. We have to start with Schizo Watch. So you guys can see that the super chats do go somewhere. I was actually able to get a new Schizo Watch intro done. I'm not in love with it. The producer isn't either. My producer here. But let's play it just for today. And I think that we're going to have an edit based on the original. But this one is a little bit more paranoid. You guys let me know what you think.
Someone make it hurt.
There are worse things than death. There's such a thing as evil.
Just follow the money.
They're pretty pissed off about something.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
How you doing, Robert? Nice to see you, my friend. All right, that's our new Schizo Watch intro, but I don't love it. I just wanted to show it because, hey, the super chats do stuff, man. We have a very big surprise. Another one of these title cards that was made that's actually really, really quite good, man. It's actually really good. You see here. All right, no. All right, cool. So I was just checking if I could gift more memberships. How you doing, Robert? All right, everyone. Let's start with Schizo Watch. And let's start here with... And we have a lot of music, this Schizo Watch, man. This is going to be more lighthearted because it's an interesting time to be alive. Let's see here what the people are doing. I'm especially interested in this one because we're not being gratuitous here, right? Look, as I've said before, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, sir. How's Vegas? How you doing? How are the casinos? Look. As you guys know, I don't have a strong opinion on this whole Israel thing, but what I am starting to develop a strong opinion on is on the quality of pro-Israeli messaging and how it's really bad. It is surprisingly bad. I had another thing that was related to this, but I don't think we'll have time, so we're just going to watch a little bit of this. And I truly wonder, dude, why is Israeli messaging so bad? It's really the worst. But before we do that, let me introduce... Here, I'm wearing the What Would Piers Morgan Do bracelet. You can get one today. Link in the description. Well, not link, but it'll give you the instructions how to do it. One for $10, two for $15. It's a parody bracelet, not associated, affiliated, or endorsed by Piers Morgan. Do not sue me. All right, let's see what this pro-Israeli propaganda is, dude, because I think they should start hiring, like, talented people because I'm really confused as to how bad this stuff is. So, and I think this is legit. I don't think it's a troll. That's why I think it's worth including in Schizo Watch. Let's see.
They not like us, eh? Fuck the synagogue of Satan, eh? Hey, fuck the synagogue of Satan. Jew not like us, we don't want no association. Giving Jewish people a misrepresentation and using Jerusalem just for gentrification. The devil in disguise, the shit identity fraud. You claiming my religion, but you don't believe in God. You killed Jesus Christ, then you killed hip-hop. My good Jewish people, it's time to drain the swamp. Exposing the snakes in the grass and the hypocrites. Eliminate all the pedophiles and degenerates. Abusing our tribe is something to hide behind. Even the Bible said you're the destruction of mankind. Ruining our culture, you the dirtiest and slimiest. You the reason that the whole world hating Zionists. You the reason that I have to deal with anti-Semitism and keep having to apologize to Muslims and Christians. Because of y'all, everybody blaming Israel. Because of y'all, civilian children are getting killed. I'm unifying Ashkenazi and Sephardic. Let's free.
So this is pro-Israel, I think. I'm very confused because the guy says that he's Jewish, right? And that he's angry at some other Jewish people for making normal, or I guess non-Jewish people against Israel. But he's still promoting Israel. And I really don't get it. And this is weird. It's weird. And this has millions of hits. I looked it up. I saw it's from this like a shitpost account that reposted it. But I looked it up. And I don't get how this is supposed to get people to support Israel. I am impressed at how bad the pro-Israel stuff is, dude. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Robert says he's pretty good. He's a good rapper, right? Like you can tell this guy he raps on beat. I don't shit on people for music, man. I like if you can tell they have talent. Look, he definitely has talent. And there's been Jewish reggae singers before and stuff. There was that Hasidic guy who was really good. He has talent, but all the talent is artistic. I just don't understand the lyricism of what exactly he's trying to say. And this is a common theme in the pro-Israel side. I'm really fascinated with why it's like this. And you can see why they have lost public opinion in the U.S. and internationally just on the basis of the propaganda. I use that term denotationally, meaning what it actually is, which is just, propaganda is what you do in order to get people on side. And I don't understand what the point of this is. It's just, to me, it comes off as silly. And dude, where are the talented Israeli, like the people who can write good propaganda? Because I don't see, America has good propaganda writers. A lot of people have, Cuba has good propaganda writers, North Korea has good propaganda writers, but the Israeli propaganda writers are just not good at it. And I'm surprised. I don't know if this is, like bad to say, but I thought that because of Hollywood and all that, like some of my favorite filmmakers are all Jewish. I would think that talent would be in Israel too, but it doesn't seem like it is. Robert says, still the same. No change. Need Canadians back. Realize how much the Canadians contribute to Las Vegas down here. Dude, when I was up there, I was in St. Catharines, and they were pretty mad. They were actually pretty mad at the whole Trump thing. They're kind of boycotting the country, from what I understand. I haven't felt them not being here in Florida, but they're supposed to be a big part of our tourism economy, so I understand that. And the Canadians, I never liked the Anglo-Canadians, honestly. But they grew on me this last time. I kind of like them. I've always been more of a Franco-Canadian fan, but they're okay. It's a shame they're not down here. You meet some of them, and it's poor guys. They're getting snuffed out by their government in the sense of like the business taxes. You meet these business owners up there. There's Chinese Canadians too, and Arab Canadians that I saw, and I'm like, how are you guys even surviving here? And they're all leaving. It's sad. All right, let's continue. This here, dude, we have this return to. I've said it before, where the comedy is not funny anymore. It's not funny. It used to be very funny in the 2010s. We used to have good comedians. And what's happening now is that the comedians are no longer talented. And I'm struggling to understand why this is the case. But when you look at the material that they're putting out, it's really not that surprising. This is Ariane Wexler. Ariane Wexler. We saw a bit she did before. And it's all just like anti-Muslim stuff, which I get it. If you don't like Muslims, I get it. I know people that don't like Muslims. That's fine. I don't have a problem with Muslim people. I like Muslim people. But it's just becoming low IQ racist comedy all around. Because this started with Joe Rogan, I think, where it was like the trannies. And now everyone's doing this stuff. And it's just not funny. Robert says, all I want to know, Leo, after Trump and Bubba were through, did Bill smoke a cigar? We're going to watch We're going to watch the greatest Piers Morgan debate this. So we'll get to that, Robert. We'll get to that. I can't believe. I don't believe that it's real. I really don't. But it would be funny if they have like some deep fake pictures come out. All right, let's watch Ariane Wexler, who's just doing racist stand-up against Zohran Mamdani, which is like the Ma and the Bailey is Muslims.
Assalamu alaikum, New York City. Oh, how does this room feel about Mamdani? Yeah. Oh. The way he talks, I describe it as like, it's Islamabonics. Islamabonics is the way people talk when they want to live in the high-rise luxury buildings that they also want to fly planes into, you know? Assalamu alaikum, New York City.
Well, I don't understand what the punchline is, because this is the problem with racism in the American sense that I've seen. Look, man, look. There's a lot of bigotry around the world, dude. In America, we don't call it bigotry, but we have bigotry, you know. In Africa, they have bigotry. In Europe, they have bigotry, but it's lighthearted, okay? It's actually more direct, but it's not meant seriously, you know? But here, it's like bigotry goes from 0 to 100 super quick. So, Islamabonics. I don't know if that was supposed to be a play on words, but I think it's just to say something that's offensive to black people, I guess, because black people don't prefer the word Ebonics to AAVE, is my understanding. I might say both. I don't really have a problem with it myself, but it's just confusing to me. And then to say that Islamabonics is when you live in the building that you want planes to fly into. Once again, we don't want to go through the whole thing, but Zohran is not a Sunni Muslim, so it's a very, very I'm not saying all Sunnis think this way, dude, but I'm just saying it doesn't even make sense. Like, it does not make sense. What is it? What is she saying? You know, it's just rage baiting people. And if that's what comedy is, if comedy is just rage bait now, then that's going to suck, because comedy is supposed to be funny. And she did rage bait a lot of people. People are pissed here. There's anti-Semitic stuff, of course. But dude, if you're gonna be this, I don't like the word Islamophobic, bigoted towards Muslims, what do you expect? What do you expect? If I started talking shit about Muslims, I know I would get all the insults. How you doing, Ephra? I saw you retracted your message. How you doing? All right. Here we have a more lighthearted break. I think that this goes to our question. We've had this question for a while on this show, where the junkie who is in some sense a hero of the show, man. The junkie is the person who chooses to drop out, right? The person who is figuring out that it's all a scam, you know? And the junkie, dude, like, I think people are starting to see the wisdom in the junkie. The junkie is the modern Buddhist, is what I'm realizing. If you're doing fentanyl, you're like a Buddhist by de facto, you know? You stumbled into it. And people are starting to realize that some of these guys are faking it. So we have this evangelical junkieism coming around where people are just dropping out. And understandably so. Things are getting harder, so people are going to drop out. Robert says she's not funny, but she has nice legs. I bet you could meet her, Robert, in New York. I bet you could. Because in New York, you run into everyone. I met one of the guests on Bill Maher's show up there. He was just on the street. This South Asian guy who's a conservative. I met Ryan from, no, not Ryan. Danny Chapalt. Look. He works for that Ryan, the Boys Cast at the Comedy Store. It's pretty easy to run into comedians in New York. I just saw him outside and I was like, hey, you're the racist comedian from Twitter. He's a nice guy. So let's see here what people are doing to cope with the hell that we live in.
It's that square.
Nice shirt.
Hey, thanks, man. You got a cigarette?
I don't have a cigarette.
Okay, thanks.
Hold on, man. You became real normal the second I started talking fist bump.
Because you're normal. Hey, you got a buck?
I don't have anything, I promise you. But hey, nice shirt. Holy shit, they're paid actors. They're paid actors. They choose to tweak.
He chose. He just, hey man, you have a cigarette?
Holy fuck? They're normal.
And the wisdom in this clip is really what the junkie says to the guy filming right here. Let's watch it one more time.
Can I start to talk fist bump?
He became normal in this hell because we live in hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Right? He became normal when he saw that someone was approaching him as a human being. In some ways, if you fake being a junkie, how you doing, Full Hat? This got me thinking. If you fake being a junkie, you will only make deep connections because your people will either be human beings that are not afraid to confront the junkie. They're not afraid to stare into the abyss, or other junkies. And that's an interesting filter, man. You know, some people have filters like asking people offensive questions to see if they're cool. I like to ask a lot of questions. But if you act as a junkie, you might actually have the greatest filter of all time to see if people are normal. Let's continue. We can skip this, man. That just made me sad. That just made me sad. Okay, here we have some more rap. Dude, the kids... I mean, I'm not going to shit on a kid for doing rap, but the kids are infected with politics now, too. Let's watch a little bit of this rap here and what this kid's message is in his lyrics.
You're not gay, it's a demon that's inside of you. You ain't born that way, don't let it try to lie to you. I rebuke demons up by faith, hope you find the truth. I'm exposing these demons that try to hide in you. Pride stands for the land of the pigs, where they like to be trans and start playing with some kids. That bathroom's for girls, so we can't let you in. Steve, you ain't fooling no one, you're just a man in a wig. You're not gay, more like insane. Being gay is fun and dandy till you get A. I just speak the truth and I don't care about gay rights. I can tell the left is mad cause my dad raised me right. You think you a woman cause you're rocking a stiletto? Don't make me get my airsoft, I'm knocking off a pedo. All y'all gonna be burning like the rich man. You are not a woman, just a dude with some implants.
Dude, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Even if you disagree with the message, that's pretty funny. What I find so sick about it, though, is this kid is what? He's like 12, right? Who told him? Who wrote these lyrics for him? And he had to rehearse them. I'm not going to shit on the kid because he obviously has musical talent. He's interested in it. But should kids be rapping about how homosexuals are demons at the age of like 12? Dude, this infecting kids with politics, making them schizos. This kid is going to go to school, if he goes to school, who knows? Because kids nowadays, I wouldn't send my kid to school. I'd fucking homeschool them. He's going to go out there and he's going to be like, yeah, that's me, the viral anti-gay rapper. My dad raised me right. It's a lyric he uses in the song. Why are you introducing this into your child's head? You know, why are you making your kid... Look, I've said the story before. In Florida, in the 50s, they had a huge campaign against homosexuality, and they created this thing that was kind of like HUAC, the anti-communist Congress in America, where they were trying to get homosexuals out of Florida universities and public schools. And what they did is they sent a bunch of agents around Florida to photograph homosexuals doing homosexual acts. And they published them in a book called The Purple Pamphlet. And the state of Florida published this book in order to show people how not to be gay. And what happened is that they started selling it in gay clubs in New York City. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Robert. I just saw that. Thank you, sir. Big super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. By the way, Robert, did you get your package yet? You're the winner of the giveaway. Did you get it? Let me know. When you get it, send me a picture if you have a chance. I want to see where you put it up. Music is all about poetry. That's true. And I studied some music theory because I've never really understood music myself. Kind of autistic in that way. But after I studied theory, I was able to understand it. And I haven't studied lyricism, but rhythm is definitely some poetic stuff where if you... I had to study it to get it. But, you know... It is a beautiful thing. I wish I was more musically inclined. I'm just not. I don't get it. The only instrument I'm trying to learn is the cajon, which is like a drum, because everything else is above my pay grade. I don't get it. Ephra says, this is painful. By the way, I'm not gay, but seriously, WTF is this? Are we now going to blame diseases on demons? And we might as well, right? I mean, teaching your kid that homosexuals are demons. Are we going to have like gangs of 9-year-olds like trying to kill homosexual men or something? You shouldn't be teaching your kid that, right? It's not good. Maybe you don't like gay people and hey, stay away from them or something, but telling them that they're demons. I don't know. We have to move on. Well, thank you, Robert. You're welcome. I really appreciate it, sir. You keep the lights on and you're going to see the next title card that we got to make this weekend. Got a nice editor in there. My producer found him. Forehand says, hate speech is not necessarily any speech that you disagree with. What actually is hate speech? Serious question, not to incite violence. I don't believe in hate speech, Forehand. I don't think hate speech is like legit. I never liked the argument for hate speech. I'm not a free speech warrior by any stretch, but I think that hate speech is a little silly. I think we'll take a break here. Let's look here at President Maduro, who might actually get invaded pretty soon, what he's doing. And this is going to reveal to you guys that boomerism, dude, I love the boomers. All right, I will defend the boomers to an extent. I made a video about Gen X. Gen X is the ones that got really mad at me about the Gen X video. So I'm going to cut the boomers some slack. Look, boomers love John Lennon, man. And it's all boomers. When I saw this, I thought of Latino boomers love John Lennon. Let's see what the president of Venezuela is singing as he is going to be imminently invaded by the United States. Maybe.
Segundo punto de trabajo. Peace, peace, peace. Hacer todo por la paz. Como decía John Lennon, ¿no? Alfred Nazaret, ¿cómo era la canción de John Lennon? Imagining us people. Mira, son jodedores, vale. Qué canción tan bella. La letra, para las más jóvenes, busquen la letra. Es una inspiración para todos.
Why do boomers love John Lennon this much? We have Venezuelan dictators or freedom fighters, whatever you want to call it. It's all valid on this channel. Singing John Lennon. Dude, and every boomer in America, boomers love John Lennon, the Rolling Stones, Supertramp, and this is good music. I like these bands. They're pretty good, you know. John Lennon, I like some of the John Lennon songs. Some of his solo work, they're good. Not a huge Beatles fan. I like the Rolling Stones, but it's like the only music that boomers listen to and continue to quote. Don't you get tired of the same music? You know? Dude, total cultural victory for the United States, man. I know he's British, but it's essentially an American, John Lennon, at this point. We have Venezuelan dictators trying to sing Imagine in English in order to prevent wars. I mean, it's over, dude. It's over for you. Let's move on. That was a fentanyl. We don't have time for that. Here we have Bubba. They've been doing these. All right, if you didn't hear, people are saying that
we live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Okay, I have to preface it with that, okay? People, because these emails came out where Jeffrey Epstein was talking to his brother, and he said that Donald Trump performed fellatio on Bill Clinton, who was named Bubba in the email. I don't believe this is true, dude. But this doesn't stop the internet from running with it. Let's see what they said.
Sucking Bubba's dick, slurping nut like his mother, going guap, guap, guap on his Arkansas brother, playing that shit like a saxophone. Presidential topic while they all alone. Don't give a fuck about Hillary. Donald Trump blow it up like a Wall 3. Trump suck Bill's dick, got his big old belly sick. From the come, clink, ton.
Look, it's funny. It's funny. I genuinely think this is funny, okay? Normally I hate the AI stuff, but this was pretty funny. But what I am going to say is that, dude, Jeffrey Epstein's deaf, whatever you want to believe, you know. Efra's asking who Bubba was. Bubba was Bill Clinton in the email. He was referred to as Bubba. I guess because he's a Southerner, right? So Bubba. A Southern, as the real Southerners say. Look, is Jeffrey Epstein responsible for the end of America through his inadvertent suicide or killing, or maybe he's still alive? Because this is insane. Where there is a bipartisan accusation here, where everyone can project onto it whatever they want, where the presidents have been reduced to they get on their knees and blow each other because some rich guy entices them. This is going to... I really, and I'm not, I believe in America. It's the only thing I believe in. I don't believe in love, the iPhone, microphones, lights. I believe in America, okay? I'm a Bajalardia. But this is striking me as an end of America moment because this is not healthy. It's not healthy for Americans to go around thinking that their chief executives, their heads of state and heads of government are blowing each other in the Virgin Islands, you know? This is end stage shit. This is Caligula shit. And I think America might have blown it, man. This is ridiculous. Boyat says, yes, in certain countries, 9-year-olds are going around and killing people. Some of those countries are our neighbors. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of poverty in Mexico. It's sad. It's getting better, though. It's not as bad as it used to be. In Brazil and Venezuela, it's pretty bad still, but I think a lot of kids are starting to stay out of this stuff. Thankfully, that's one of the good things. The internet, always on that damn phone. But always on that damn phone is pretty good if you live in a third world country so you don't get involved in a gang. Audio Vibe says, singing Imagine right now is one of the funniest things he could have done. Yeah, I agree. And Robert says he's a likable guy. He comes off as likable singing Imagine. He does. It's like, wow, this is my boomer grandpa singing Imagine to me, telling me how the lyrics are beautiful, you know? Schofield, how you doing? Reminds them of high school. That's true. I mean, dude, but I don't listen. Well, I'm a huge Kanye fan. I listened to Life of Pablo a lot in high school, but I don't really touch that album anymore. I don't know if it's because they listened to it less frequently back then because it was vinyl or CDs. But now since it's streaming, you can listen to whatever you like a lot. So in high school, I listened to Life of Pablo a lot. And now I'm not sick of it. I respect it artistically, but I can't really listen to it anymore. Full Hat saying desperate Democrats just led into a huge DJT trap with the Epstein files. The Dems took the bait. Everybody knows if they have something on Donald John Trump, that shit would have come out before he ever got... Well, let's see, Full Hat. I'm curious to see what they release because they had the vote today and everyone except one person voted to release them. Robert says they should do the work of the people. I think Americans are sick of this shit. Yeah, do you mean the presidents, Robert? I mean, dude, we have a huge problem where these people don't take responsibility. In Florida with DeSantis, it's getting worse. Like DeSantis, I'm going to talk about it tomorrow on stream probably, but he's just ridiculous. He really is ridiculous in what he's doing with this eliminating property tax stuff. Like these guys do not care anymore. They're all phoning it in. Let's continue. I thought that this was going on our junkie thread. Dude, even the pigeons realize that
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
we live in hell. Look, the pigeons are getting on fentanyl. The pigeons are fed up with this world.
This nigga done found a pad. This nigga getting high off the pad. That's crazy, yo. He just moved, bro. His eyes open. What did you talking about? This nigga alive, bro. That's crazy. What the fuck is...
I mean, dude, when the pigeons are doing this too, let me get this here so you guys can see the pigeon. When the pigeons are resorting to drug abuse, to fentanyl abuse, it means that it is hell, right? If God's creation, the pigeon, is saying, fuck my miserable pigeon life, I'm going to grab some fentanyl, that means that something went wrong at some point. Because these pigeons should not be behaving this way. These pigeons should be flying. They should be doves. But even the pigeons are getting on fentanyl. And some people in the comments were saying this is sad, that the pigeon did this by mistake. I would counter, I think the pigeon might be doing this on purpose, man. The pigeon might know how bad things are. The pigeon, no one feeds me bread anymore because they're all on their damn phone. I'm going to do fentanyl. You know, That is the pigeon psychology that I'm reading into the pigeon. And I understand this pigeon. If people get hooked on fentanyl, why wouldn't a pigeon that realizes that they live in hell?
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Get on fentanyl. Robert says, poor bird. Robert, look, I agree with you. Like, this bird has been driven into hell. Imagine your life as a pigeon in the big 2025. It's probably terrible. In America, at least. In Rome, it's probably nice. You know, people don't feed you anymore because no one can afford groceries. So there's no pigeon food around. People hate you for being a pigeon. They call you rats of the sky. What is there to live for as a pigeon anymore? It's sad. It's a sad pigeon life. And they're resorting to drug abuse. I mean, if humans do it, why wouldn't pigeons? Why wouldn't pigeons? Let's continue. This one, dude, this is the most Baudrillardian thing I've seen in a long time. Let's watch here. This guy has made a George Floyd jacket and a George Floyd hat and is going around New York City in this. And all right, let's see.
Excuse me? That man died an unjustified death at the hand of officers. You need to give this man what he's asking for. This is unacceptable. I did not move here from Arkansas to deal with this. You came from Arkansas? Yes, yes.
Yeah, bro, but New York is not normal.
We moved here because we support justice. And this is not just...
Look, some people might be offended by this, but as I have said, the only people who honored Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, sincerely honored the guy, are the people making memes. Because everything else has been a grift. I'm not sure, because I don't remember. I mean, dude, the golden casket and all this, there was a grifty element around... No, there definitely was, dude. The Democrats were kneeling in kente cloth in Congress when George Floyd died. They didn't give a shit about George Floyd. This guy cares more about George Floyd than any of the Democrats who knelt in Congress for him. And he is showing his love and appreciation through the meme. Same as Charlie Kirk. What, we're going to shit on him? We're going to say he's wrong? I don't think he's wrong. Ephra says, there are no VR goggles for pigeons now, so I get it. Exactly. The pigeons, if they had MetaMask glasses for pigeons, maybe they wouldn't get on the fent. Forhat says that Trump and Rubio were in China and came up with a deal to stop fentanyl production. That's interesting. I'm going to look into that, Forhat. I believe you. Let's really quick, because that reminded me, let's catch up, because you know that I have the Kirk memes on deck. Let's see how people are honoring Charlie Kirk. As I said, these are the people who truly loved him. Anyone who's memeing Charlie Kirk loved him more than his evil wife. His evil wife. Let's watch this guy here, who's actually liberal.
Why would I get a Charlie Kirk tattoo? Obviously, I was joking.
Now, it came out after that he did this for rage bait, to rage bait conservatives to make them angry. But, dude, it doesn't matter what your intention is, because the spectacle is greater than the intention here. This man is honoring Charlie Kirk with the Kate Upton body on his body. That is permanently on his body. Erica Kirk wouldn't do this shit. Erica Kirk wants to make money. This is really how you know you love someone. I told you the people who would miss Charlie Kirk most are the people that hated him. And we can definitely see it here. Let's continue. What else got Kirkified this week? Look, dude, this is wild here. They're making AI-generated Charlie Kirk worship music. This is some great stuff, man. This is insane. We can just listen to it here.
We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flag.
This is wild, man. Now, AI generated Charlie Kirk worship music. I mean, what level of hell are we in? But hey, it kind of honors him. It seems a little too earnest for me, a little grifty. But all right, let's. This is our final Charlie Kirk. We have Charlie Kirk as Drake. A great American superimposed on a great Canadian. I mean, dude, come on. Let's continue. What else we got, dude? We have a lot of stuff because we're gonna have to move on. Here we have this same guy who we've been tracking on this channel, and I got a little uncomfortable with him last time. The first time we saw him, he was giving out alcohol and cigarettes to the homeless, and I was like, that's okay. I'm cool with that. I like that. Don't bother people, right? Then he was giving out crack pipes, and I was like, this is still okay. Why would you want them to participate in hell? It's either a crack pipe or a job application. All right. And then he brought them knives, and I was like, all right, this is violence is real, Baudrillard said, but this is a little and now he's handing out full-on machetes to all the homeless people. And at this point, I think that this is like a Hutu nationalist or something that's trying to start another Rwandan genocide. Let's watch this because you can't give these out.
Oh yeah, there you go. Need some protection out here. You know what I'm saying? Here. Hell yeah, out here. You know. You're welcome. Oh yeah, I'll go over there. I'll hand him. Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh man. Big ass sword. You want one? You're welcome.
And the reason I'm a little concerned about it, a little bit, is because we live in such an ironic country that I think at this point, you might accidentally, ironically start a Rwandan genocide situation in the U.S. People would do it ironically. There would have to be ironic trials in order to get people in justice. Because this is so ironic. We're 3 levels deep, 10 levels deep in the irony here. This is how the Rwandan genocide kind of started, handing out machetes, and he's doing it. I have to at this point disavow, dude. Like this is too much, even for me. This here is pretty good. This is some kids getting a real education. People were hating on this, but I really liked it. OF model Ari Kistia was invited to the University of Washington to speak to a psychology class of 1,200 students. This is what you should be paying for in college. The wizards like OF models, like Piers Morgan, like Bonnie Blue, like PBD, that's all you should seek to be. These wizards are making so much money. They have so much power. They have so much control. I'm not telling you to do OF. I would never say that. But I'm just saying you can learn their wizardry and apply it your own way. So let's see these students actually paying for a real education at the University of Washington.
Literally always get what I want. Everything always works out in my favor because I always get what I want. I always get what I want. I literally always get what I want. Everything always works out in my favor because I always get what I want.
Go, Kylie, go. Good job, Kylie. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Wow, look at her go.
One of the very first times that I started, I didn't do it. It's not allowed on OnlyFans. There's a lot of things that aren't allowed. Somebody asked me to shit in a box and send it to an email for $10,000 so they could eat it, and I did not do it. Back up. I just wanted to go.
They asked you to shit? What, is that what you said?
Yes, like go poopy in a box.
And then send it to them and they would eat it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't do that, guys.
God, how much are they going to pay you for that?
10,000.
So it's a little crass there, but dude, this is a real education. If you can get people to ask you for $10,000 to give you $10,000 for you to send them some of your feces, some of your poop. You have cracked. You are a Hogwarts king. You are a what's the black belt that the Gracies have? The snake belt. You are on another level of grift, of wizardry, that I can only hope to attain 10% of that. I wish I had been in this class. I wish I could have learned from this woman. When a wizard speaks, I sit my fruit-picking, mechanic, car-fixing, spick ass down and listen. Because this is a wizard, fellas. This is a wizard. Let's catch up with the chats. This is what you should go to college for, to learn wizardry. College should be a magic class, an OF class, a hypnotism class, a Piers Morgan class, and that's it. That's what it should be. It should not be any of the BS they do. Let's see here. Effort says, yeah, but I don't have boobs. How would that work? I don't know but there has to be some transferable magic ability that this OF model has that even a male can like pick up on, right? That a male can pick up on, oh, I understand. Maybe she's not conscious of it. Maybe the way she words things, the way she markets herself, you can pick some of that up, you know? How you doing, Street Cat Munchies? Your mama can't take it no more. What do you mean? Full Hat says, who do you think run those mines in the Congo, Leo? Well, a lot of them are owned by China. It's one of the largest slavery operations going on this planet right now. Oh, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't call it slavery, Full Hat. It's miserable, but I wouldn't call it slavery myself. All right, Street Cat. Whoa. That's a wild statement about Eazy. Real motherfucking G's. Effort says, King Leo, if you were a hot chick, what do you do, OF? I think that OF is kind of a cheat code because I want to put a challenge in myself, you know? Because this has a burnout. How many people can transition over? Like Mia Khalifa kind of did it. But if you're a lady, I think that there is a lot more power you can acquire. A lot more witch or wizard energy with your clove on. I think that this kind of limits you. I'm not saying this is a bad path, but I'm just saying I think it limits you in your wizardry. Full Hat says, King Leo, I really appreciate you actually bringing attention to this issue. You've done a good thing, my young man. All right, appreciate you, sir. All right, guys, let's continue here. Whoa. All right, let's keep going. Is Arya here? I thought I saw Arya. All right, guys, let's continue. Because we have 7 minutes of Schizo Watch left. This is what our... This is too stupid. We might do it tomorrow. This is. Let's watch here Nancy Mace, this idiot, this moron we have in office, what AI slop she's posting. Sorry, guys, Twitter's giving me issues here. Ever since this idiot bought Twitter, it sucks now. Let's see what she's posting. Sorry, Goose, but it's time to buzz the tower. What is Nancy Mace doing in Congress, dude? I think everyone in the chat that we've had has agreed she's a psychopath. Even like MAGA people, I think Full Hat has agreed that this woman is insane. What is she posting here? Why is there poop? Who is this person she's dumping it on? I can't tell who this is. And it got ratioed on Twitter because this is ridiculous. This is insane. This person is in Congress, man. These people are killing America. The people killing America have names, man. They have names. And Nancy Mace is one of them. We'll get to that tomorrow. We'll get to this tomorrow. Well, let's look at this one here. Let's look at Candace, who's on to... No, this is too long. We'll do it tomorrow. Let's look at this here. What are the youngins doing for health these days? Let's watch here Clavacular, who's becoming very popular.
What drugs do you take in a day? I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I take 7.5 milligrams of Accutane a day. I use crystal meth as a stimulant and Tolene Max. It's much more mild than Adderall, actually, and I'm pretty much using meth for hollow cheeks. What drug?
Dude, I don't know what's going on with the young men, man. If you're on the tee at 18, 19, I mean, how young is this kid? Probably in his early 20s, right? I don't think it's healthy to be on the testosterone already and on the DHT inhibitors. But most importantly, on the crystal meth. I don't know if I'm a square or something. I don't know where you buy crystal meth. Where do you buy crystal meth? I've seen Breaking Bad. I know where you can find other stuff. But crystal meth, that's a real big ask. How do you find that at like 20? You graduate into crystal meth in what? Like in your mid-20s. Where do you buy for hollow cheeks? I think crystal meth. Don't quote me on this. Look, you guys know that we understand the junkies are on fence, okay? Which is a different thing. It's a depressive, it's an opioid, right? Crystal meth is a stimulant. I don't think buying smack, buying speed, is a great way of achieving hollow cheekbones. I think it might even be better to get plastic surgery than do this. I don't know what's going on with these youngins, man. Sorry to be here, unk status, but let's finish off Schizo Watch, man. Yeah, we'll save that one for tomorrow. Yeah, we gotta save this one for tomorrow. Let's watch here this young man here. And as I always say, we live in hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
And what I like about this young man here, a lot of people saying that what he's saying is wrong, that's not good. This is a modern man. He is not a postmodern man. And I always admire modern men because they are still confident in their identity, in their station, in who they are. And it's kind of like looking at, I imagine this is how Bartolomeo de las Casas felt when he was studying, the natives of Hispaniola, where he was like, these are a noble people. These are just like us, but they believe in something deeper. And when you see someone like this, dude, it's like finding the real Don Quixote. Let's watch here what he has to say.
I ain't got no gold. I was born to stay in the hood.
Are you gonna stay in the hood for the rest of your life?
I might.
How you gonna make money?
The government gonna take care of me. All I gotta do is have 8 kids and I'm Gucci. Do you know how much food stamps I can get with 8 kids? The hood is the land of opportunity. I get chopped cheese, Chinese food, and Don Louis on the same block.
Yo, now we're done.
I ain't got no.
A lot of people will make fun of this. A lot of people will say that this is wrong, that this young child is going down the wrong path in life. If you can accept, as he says, dude, that it is an opportunity to be in the hood. If you can accept the opportunity within your domain, that is something to admire. That is very rare. This is like a farmer, dude. A farmer in the 1920s in Cuba, or even like, I don't know, Wisconsin. What does he do? He's a farmer. He believes in the farm. He believes in farming. His life is farming. The reason we all are crazy nowadays, we're all going a little nuts, is because people cannot accept where they are and look at opportunities here, because everyone's on Instagram and they're seeing people in Dubai, to see people doing these extravagant vacations, living these extravagant lives, and they aspire for something that may not be attainable. It may not be achievable. And I'm not saying that this is the right way to go, but I think there is some wisdom in this kid. Because what he's telling you is, if you become a modern man, and by modern, I don't mean temporal. I mean modern in terms of you are confident in identity. And his identity is that of a hoodlum. That's probably not a great identity to be in. It's probably not great for your life. But if you can accept, if you find something so stable that you can accept that, you're a fisherman, a pilot, a trucker, you will be less schizoed out than if you didn't have them. And look, I know it's controversial to say, a lot of people hating on the kid, and I'm not saying he's right, but what I am saying is that his identity is more secure than most people's nowadays. A lot more secure. Let's catch up with the chats before we end Schizo Watch. Fuad says, Leo, I'm still your friend. Of course you're my friend. Because we disagree politically doesn't mean I don't think you're a good dude, man. I think you're a great guy, man. No worries. No worries. All right, we have a lot of chats from Street Cat. Street Cat, I'm a little confused as to what you're trying to say here. Effer says, to be fair, there's no real adults running the show anymore. Even adults are child like nothing, like a generational logo. And Robert says, wow, wrong teachings. Right. And I think those two chats go together. Where this kid is accepting an identity. This identity was probably made by television, by the culture. But it's a real identity in this world, man. The identity of a hoodlum. The identity of Robin Hood. The identity... Look, identity is such a complicated thing, man. It's so difficult in the postmodern world to have an identity that is strong, that is based on occupation, that is based on geography, because the world is so globalized and international. And no one is teaching you this because it is impossible to teach. You can't teach someone to be comfortable in their identity because people strive for more. And Robert's right. This is not a great teaching. Absolutely not. But it is a teaching, which is why it's interesting to see that some people are still able to preserve a teaching. Telling the kid to live off food stamps, to be a hoodlum, it's probably not a great teaching, but that is Don Quixote. That is Don Quixote tilting at windmills. Why is he doing that? Don Quixote is doing that because he's aspiring for a forgotten time, a time of chivalry. Let's keep watching here. Schofield said, the kid is the rose that grew from the concrete. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, man. Because the mental schizophrenia comes from when people tell you, you're more than this. You can do more. And I'm not saying that you should limit yourself, but when you tell that to everyone, when you tell that to people who would be happy as a welder, as a plumber, then it's not great stuff. Don't forget to grab your prayer mat, says Full Hat. All right. All right. Camus is funny, Street Cat Munchies. Let's end Schizo Watch with the new graphic.
Someone may get hurt. There are worse things than death. There's such a thing as evil. Just follow the money.
They're pretty pissed off about something.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
All right, and now we have to get to Bill Maher, our first story. Bill Maher had... Dude, that show was actually fucking torture, man. The last Friday's show was probably the worst Bill Maher I've seen in a long time. Because he had Scott Galloway on. I really don't like Scott Galloway. I have never found him sincere. I think he's a liar. I don't like the guy. And it was very annoying. Thank you, Audio Vibes. But before we get to the actual show, and we're going to use Bill Maher to discuss Marjorie Taylor Greene and her redemption. I thought Marjorie Taylor Greene was an idiot. I really thought she was an idiot. But she's actually becoming kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right. So, firstly, let's watch Bill Maher discuss with Patton Oswalt, who, I don't like Patton Oswalt either. I sincerely, I don't like this guy. But I think it's worth showing because this is what Bill Maher does. Bill Maher, let's just watch this, dude. I can't even discuss Bill Maher. Let's just watch it. It'll speak for itself.
I hate to admit this. This country is not as mature as it thinks it is. We elected Obama, and clearly the country freaked out. We're still living in that freak out. We are not as progressed and evolved and intelligent as we think we are because we keep freaking out about this stuff.
Well,
you know?
The left freak out, too. The left freaked out about a lot of bullshit, too.
What did they freak out about?
Gender, race, parenthood, schools, homelessness, crime, the border, education. Like we stopped being a scientific people. Like it's not scientific.
But the left certainly stayed scientific.
No, they didn't.
Why not?
Because they think gender bullshit that they went way too far with. That's not scientific.
But how do? I'm not trying to. How do they go too far with like gender stuff? And I'm not trying to
Instead of, well, if I was teaching children, what I would teach them is there is a default setting for the human being, which is heterosexuality, but that doesn't mean every person is that, and we should completely respect everyone who isn't that. But we understand that that's called a minority, and what makes us a great country is that we respect minorities. We don't think they're lesser just because they're lesser in numbers. That's not what we started to teach, which was that every baby is, I don't know, let's not even put it on the birth certificate. That's what they wanted.
Were we teaching that?
Yes, we
When
were.
were we teaching that?
Teaching it. It was a law here in California. See,
To teach what?
Don't put sex on the birth certificate. We'll see. Now, we've passed that period now.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that. I mean,
I know, because it doesn't get in the blue sky bubble.
Wait a minute, I'm not just on blue sky.
I really think that's a lot of it, is that some of this stuff doesn't get in to everybody's media.
I know. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is reasonable. Bill Maher is being a reasonable guy. He's destroying, owning Patton Oswalt." Need I remind you? And need I remind you, dude? The main reason I hate Bill Maher. Bill Maher said that there should be a recession. He said this all throughout the first Trump term, that there should be a recession so that he can't win a second term. Bill Maher wanted people to die. Let's look it up. Let's look up how many people die in recessions. How many people die in recessions? Let's see. Dude, can someone give me an answer? Death rises by 0.4% of the mean. 4%. 4% increase in deaths happened during a recession. 4%. Bill Maher was 60 years old when he said that shit. He was hoping for a recession. This is a monster. This is an evil fucking person. I would never wish harm on anyone, man. On anyone. If that makes me a naive pacifist, I'll take it. I don't wish for a recession for anyone. We live in hell. So when Bill Maher's talking to Patton Oswalt, he's saying you live in that blue sky bubble where you don't know that they're teaching transgenders in school. Bill Maher, where's your bubble? What's your bubble? Dude, you said that he hasn't apologized for that. In fact, what he did was he went and met with Trump. You met with Trump, a guy you hoped a recession would happen. Dude, I don't care if you hate Trump, if you hate Zohran Mamdani. I do not. Maybe it's because of my finance background. Maybe Bill Maher's just a moron because he's a moron. I would never wish on you a recession. Never in my life would I wish that for you. Never. I only wish for prosperity. And I know that's an unattainable goal. He explicitly said, I hope there's a recession so Donald Trump loses in 2020. This man is a monster. He's a monster. He's a wizard. I'll give him that. He's a wizard. We respect wizards. He's a monster, though. He is the Voldemort of our time. This monster is going to sit here and tell Patton Oswalt that he's out of touch. No, Bill Maher, you're out of touch. You wished for a recession, and you got it. So, no. There is no Bill Maher redemption arc. He is simply... All right, before we catch up on the chats, let's continue, because there's a lot of Bill Maher to look at. He's going to talk about Zohran here. I have that one saved. First, let's do this, and we'll go to YouTube. Let's read this here. Let's read Bill Maher's... This guy's a total fucking narcissist. Bill Maher is no longer doing stand-up comedy tours because, quote, I could get shot by the left or the right, end quote. Quote, I don't want to be, out there in this country, in this political atmosphere. It's a good time to not be out there. I'm also tired of being twice as funny as people who are selling twice as many tickets as me. Bro, dude.
Oh, I get it. You're retarded.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bill Maher. I'm sorry you're not selling tickets that people that are less funny than you are selling. That speaks more to you than them. I've never laughed at a Bill Maher special, man. That's why he's a wizard, because he has like 12 of them. None of them are funny, but HBO is paying for them. Not that I didn't sell a lot of tickets and do great theaters, but I didn't sell arenas. And some people did, who frankly are not that great. But you know, when the audience is 35 to 45, they don't want to see somebody 70. I don't think that's true. I think George Carlin was selling shit out into his fucking 90s. I just did my 13th HBO special. It was terrible. I feel like that's a good body of work. I felt they basically got better as it went along. I feel like the last one was the best one, which is a good way to get off. Dude, I think I made the video members only today. The Bill Maher video. That episode that special, I pulled quotes from it. It's not funny. It's not funny. He is not a funny guy, dude. This guy, that's the wizardry. He's convinced the world he's a comedian. I have never seen Bill Maher make a funny joke. Never in my life have I seen it. People give Dave Smith a lot of shit for not being funny. I don't think Dave Smith's very funny. I think he's a talented political commentator, but as a comedian, he's not very funny. But Bill Maher is neither. Bill Maher has been wrong about everything his whole life, and he's not funny. So what is the point of Bill Maher? Well, as I always said, the point of Bill Maher is he works for the institutions that are actually in charge, and that's why it's important. And that's why he's important. All right, that's why we respect Bill Maher. All right, so we're gonna go here to Bill Maher, who has the ZIDS, as I'm calling them, Zohran derangement syndrome. He has fucking Zohran derangement syndrome. It started off racist, and now he's making it not about race. No, it's not about race. It's about socialism. It's about economics. Let's watch his stupid fucking monologue, dude. This guy is... I can't stand him, man. I can't... But I love to watch the show. I love to watch this show. This show is so bad, but I love to watch. Let's catch up with the chats. Man. It's ridiculous. How you doing, People's Press? Thank you, Aria, for liking the new graphic. Yes, Ephra. I think Patton Oswalt was in A King of Queens. Aria, he's smoking weed. They're blunts. Because he's a cool guy. He smokes weed. Whoa, dude. Cool people fucking do cocaine. Pajarito Lindo, how you doing? Is this guy living under a rock? Look, Patton Oswalt's obviously living under a rock because there was an unreasonable reaction, right? Like, he should know some of this stuff. But Patton Oswalt also, some people say he murdered her, lost his wife, like 5 years ago. I don't blame the guy for being out of it for a bit, Bill Maher, who's in it, is not insightful. So what's the point? Arya says, Bill Maher's actually lying. There was never a debate like that in California or a law like that. There was a debate over whether to allow non-binary option under sex to be allowed if child is born intersex or adult wants to change their birth certificate. Can you still do... I think they removed that. I wanted to change my sex on my birth certificate for the X, just for a little OPSEC. But then I was like, if I change it to the X, does that make me more noticeable, actually? Because it'd be cool to have like an anonymous passport. Schofield said Bill has the ZIDS. I completely agree, Schofield. And we're going to see it. It's ridiculous. Full Hat's talking about the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE. I don't think that the Muslim Brother... Full Hat. The Muslim Brotherhood is Sunni. I don't see what they have to do with Zohran. Effort says George Carlin's age was his experience. It was a feature, not a bug. Absolutely. You poop too. Haven't seen you here before. Grandma Bill Maher is an absolute human poop. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's watch this monologue he did here, this pathetic monologue.
And finally, New World Democrats must recognize that Zohran Mamdani is the future of the party. Unfortunately, it's the Republican Party.
I wonder why he's not selling out stadiums. That joke was so funny, he had to look at the audience for them to laugh. Wow, you're so funny, Bill. You're an underappreciated talent, Bill. Wow, you're so funny. You have to cue the audience.
Get it? And if you missed his victory speech in last week's mayoral election in New York, don't worry. You'll see it in every attack ad for the next 2 years. Now, Mamdani seems like a nice guy, and I congratulate him on an extraordinary political achievement. But before...
This is Bill Ackman tier change of tune, bro. He literally said that he was dude, He said that he was a Muslim fucking terrorist. He said that. I'm not even a Zohran fan, and now he's saying that he's cool. Dude, it's fascinating to watch this guy, dude. How he can just look you with a straight face. It's Larry David level. That's the real comedy. It's the meta comedy of how he drives people nuts. It's looking at Bill Maher one day, I hope there's a recession so that Trump can get reelected. And the next day, I had dinner with him. What's the problem? That is the wizardry. I'm realizing it now. That's why he's a wizard. Because he's just driving people nuts. He's just driving people nuts. Oh my. Mr. Elu, how you doing? I have Bill Maher derangement. BDS. You have BDS. Oh my God. Efra says it's the smile. That was his secret. Completely agree. The smile is what's saving him right now, Efra. Completely agree. Arya says, I think the racism isn't... Yeah, no, but let's continue because it gets worse.
The whole left side of the country catches socialism fever. Let's listen to the other big winner in last Tuesday's election, Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger, who, before the 24 election, said things like, if the party didn't shift to the center, we will get fucking torn apart. And we need to never use the word socialist or socialism ever again. Well, she was right, but they didn't listen. Typical, am I right, ladies? Well, at least the party has a clear choice here, very clear. One wing is saying don't ever use the word socialist again, and one is saying,
I am a democratic socialist.
Clear, huh? So how do we decide who's right? Well, it turns out we don't really have to flip a coin. We have the evidence. In 2024, 13 Democrats won. In districts, Trump also won. All moderates.
You just said that two people won this year on the same day because one of them was a socialist and the other one was a regular Democrat. You just showed me that there is enough of a market for both of these to succeed. That is the evidence that matters. What is this appealing to the past? The most current information is the best one. What the fuck are you talking about, Bill Maher? What are you talking about?
This isn't rocket science. All the left-leaning think tanks have done autopsies on 2024, and they all came up with the same message. Move to the center. Even the New York...
Oh, the think tank said so. Oh, I understand. I'm sorry, I was confused. The think tanks said it. Oh, I get it. Oh, okay. This is why we live in hell, bro. Because everyone is hiring McKinsey and think tanks and a bunch of idiots, man. It's just ridiculous.
New York Times, which did so much to promote woke politics, now says the partisans are wrong. Moving to the center is the way to win. And Democrats should recognize the party moved too far left on social issues after all.
Oh, let's trust the New York Times. The New York Times, this appeal... Dude, it's all... I don't want to sound like a Redditor. It's all appeal to authority bullshit. I'm appealing to evidence. I'm appealing to the guy fucking won. He won. He had you talking about him before he won. He beat Andrew Cuomo.
Obama left office. Gosh, if only someone had been saying that all along. But you know, welcome home. Problem is, Gen Z thinks socialism's wired and capitalism's tired and billionaires are what's for dinner. And who can blame them? If you're 30 and still sharing a bathroom with roommates, capitalism isn't working for you. People will reject any economic system where there's strange hair on the soap. No one wants to be approaching middle age and still writing their name on food before they put it in the fridge. So they're quiet quitting capitalism and texting socialism that they're down to fuck. Thing is, socialism will fuck you. Because socialism, to put it simply, just doesn't work and has never worked. Like Kevin Federline.
Dude, are we watching Bill O'Reilly now? This is Bill O'Reilly. No matter who you watch, you end up watching Bill O'Reilly. Thank you, Bill Maher, for saying socialism doesn't work. It's not like I've heard that from everybody in my life. What a hot take. What a hot fucking take. Dude, can someone get me a bandage? Because I think I just burned my hand because of how hot this take was. Dude, come, how is he doing this? How are people watching this earnestly? I watch it because I like ice picks in my balls. But this is, if you watch this for real, you have a mental or disorder.
I know the kids think that stuff that happened before their appearance on the planet didn't really happen, but it did. We've run this experiment many times, and the results are always obvious. Here's capitalist South Korea at night from space.
Oh my God, dude, we're doing the Korea meme. Oh my God. Hey, very nice, Bill. Can we look at the suicide rate now? Can we look at the suicide? Can we look at the fertility rate? Dude, it's boomerism. It's I don't even want to say boomerism, man. Like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Robert has really opened my eyes to... I always knew there were good boomers out there, but Robert has shown me... I assume Robert's a boomer. Why am I assuming Robert's a boomer? I don't know. Robert, if you're a boomer, please let me know. But you're the only guy who has spoken kindly to the younger people, saying, hey, you know, the kids have it hard. So there are a lot of good boomers out there, I assume. But this is not one of them. Doing the North Korea, South Korea, I mean, it's just, dude, it's boomerism to the max, man. This is retarded.
Socialist North Korea. Yeah. In 1990, Venezuela was wealthier than Poland. But then Poland, finally free of Soviet-style economics, went all in on capitalism. And now their economy is as big as Japan. And people there have high wages, low inflation, cars, vacations, homes. Meanwhile, Venezuela traded capitalism for Hugo Chavez's socialism for the 21st century, which turned out to be like socialism in the last century, or any century, a fucking mess. It turned one of Latin America's richest countries.
This is Heritage Foundation bullshit. Oh, Robert says yes. Okay, so I have evidence. There are good boomers. There are good boomers. This is insane, though. This is what a boomer tells you to feel right. I had to hear this from Fox News for years, man. I had to hear them say that we're eating dogs and cats in Venezuela. I say we're. I'm an American. But that my heritage is eating dogs and cats. And now Bill Maher is doing it. Dude, what is this crap, man? It's the same crap over and over and over. And what about China? What about China? Why don't we ever use China as an example? Or Seychelles, as I always like to point to.
Is into one of its poorest. Low wages, high inflation, shortages, outages, 8 million people fleeing. If you think New York can somehow reinvent this wheel, you're in for a rude awakening. Zohran can't make your wishes come true. You're thinking of Zoltar.
I swear he has to pay people to do that laugh. There's no way that anyone's laughing that hard. There's no way.
Democratic socialism is like a dating profile. Things look great until you meet up in the real world. For example, Bernie Sanders, his big thing was always bringing single-payer health care to our country of 340 million. But when liberal, tie-dyed Vermont tried to do it for a population of 626,000, it collapsed like that poor fuck in the Oval Office last week. Bernie, AOC, Mandani are not...
When is the last time that Bill Maher has had any issue with healthcare? I bet you hasn't been since the 90s. Bill Maher is a privileged guy, man. I'm not a single payer fan. Okay, I like the idea of a giant risk pool. I like it. I think there's probably more creative ways of doing it than the traditional single payer. But this is an implicit endorsement of the current system, and it's not working. Maybe his bubble, as he's telling Patton Oswalt, it works in there. It does not work for everyone else. This gaslighting is what gets me about Bill Maher, man. Only a wizard like him could gaslight
Democrats. They'll be the first to tell you that. They're democratic socialists, and that's a very different thing, and I don't think people know that yet. I don't think people realize we already have a lot of socialism. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, food stamps, veterans benefits, Pell Grants, COVID-era payments, farm subsidies, disability payments, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, corporate bailouts, and the jobs program that is building weapons the Pentagon doesn't even want. All that is socialism, much of it appropriate to soften the edges of capitalism, but the DSA are radicals about this concept, and radical economic policy is always ineluctably married to radical...
Dude, I don't want to go full Stalinist here. The DSA are not radicals. The DSA is a compromise. It's a compromise. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. You know, I am not a... This is a compromise. This idea, dude, it's literal. The same shit that's been said for years. For years.
Radical social policy. Their platform, for example, calls for completely open borders. They're for what Biden was doing, but more. You think you're going to win an election on that? This just seems like more extremism at a time when Americans are begging both parties, please, could just one of you act normal? It's either defund the police or military in the streets. Either MAGA's crypto crony capitalism or city-run grocery stores. No, I don't want that. I want a Democrat who reassures me if you like your Whole Foods, you can keep your Whole Foods. Governor-elect Spanberger once said about Biden's presidency that, quote, nobody elected him to be FDR. They elected him to be normal. Normal.
Oh, this is such a great pitch, man. If you elect me, everything will be the same. Oh, what a great pitch. That's just how Andrew Cuomo won his election against Zohran. If you elect Biden, things will be the same. What a great... Oh, my... McKinsey, did you come up with that? That's so... Bain, did you...
You know, at this year's DSA convention, or as it's commonly known, Comic-Con, get this, you had to submit a photo of a negative COVID test to get in 2025. Yeah, no one wants to do that shit again. We've had enough of Trump's macho bullshit and also enough of pussy politics. Yeah. Guy couldn't help himself. Yeah. These democratic socialists at another of their conventions, they were told to make jazz hands instead of clapping, lest some delegates suffer sensory overload.
How is this any different from Bill Maher looking to his audience, as he did at the start of this clip, to demand claps? It's the same mentality. Same mentality.
And also, and I'm not joking, they were told not to be wearing, any aggressive scents.
Please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because that's going to be difficult for people.
Oh, for fuck's sake. This... Really? This is who the Democrats are thinking of following? Chuck Schumer ain't perfect, but at least he doesn't crumple into a heap when confronted with Chanel No. 5. You may now clap in the traditional way. Thank you very much.
It's unwatchable stuff, man. It's unwatchable. 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 He has the zids. It's going to be really funny to see him over the next couple of years. See Zohran either. Honestly, guys, I don't think he'll deliver. But if he does, it's going to be funny. And if he doesn't, it's going to be even funnier. Because he's going to still freak out over a guy that's doing nothing. Let's catch up with the chats before we move on to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is being redeemed. Well, we have a lot of chats. Fuad says Bill Maher speaks the truth. I don't think so, Fuad. I think he speaks a certain truth. I think he's a regime propagandist, which is pretty good. He's a good measure for what the regime is thinking, which is cool. Well, we have a lot of chats. Arya says, I think the racism is insane. Yeah, the racism was pretty wild. Oh, we already did that. Let's keep going. Mr. Elu says, okay, boo. Pajarito Lindo says, what are these jokes? He has a writing staff to write these. No, he says that the new rules, he writes this himself and it takes him a week to write. That he wants to make these his own baby. That he loves these. So that's his. Arya says the jokes are terrible. I agree. Pajarito Lindo says, Bill doesn't even have fans. He's got to be an operative just like The View. I completely agree. We've looked at the numbers here in the past, and Bill gets like 300K viewers a week. There's no way that that's not there for a reason, because that's worse than like any show on the Blaze on YouTube. It's terrible numbers. Mr. Elu says he even looks like Bill O'Reilly. All right. Yeah, he does. Bill O'Reilly was on last week, and it was pretty funny because Bill O'Reilly was funnier than Maher. Efra says, I don't think any economic system works. Ultimately, there will be some people that will game the system. Absolutely. But some of them are better than others, right? Maybe. If we're judging it on a nihilistic relative basis. But I saw it in Iceland, man. Like, Iceland does not work. And it's a shame because it could work. But I can't say the boomers, but the rich gamed the system. Mr. Elu says, Bill Maher's an all right. An operative of our greatest ally, all right. Arya says, Bill Maher needs to get off TV. No, Arya, don't take him off TV. I need this torch. Efra says, policy and strong institutions are what drives freedom and prosperity. No one would invest in a country that has neither. I agree. Institutions help a lot. That's why nations fail. Classic stuff, yeah. Schofield says, they never use the Nordic countries as examples, which is what the DSA is, right? They're social democrats. That's what they are at the end of the day. Robert says, greedism can be just as bad or worse. I assume you mean capitalism, Robert, and I agree. It's like every one of these systems can be abused. They're going to be abused. All right, guys, we have a lot. Schofield says aggressive sense. Come on, man, that was funny. I do know. Look, Bill is HBO's industry plant. Look, the aggressive sense thing. As someone who actually likes cologne and stuff, dude, if you're ever going somewhere where they say that, just wear molecule number 2. It's like a neutral sense without much. And how you doing, Jose? Maher's going down the Dennis Miller route. I think so, but people keep calling him right wing. I don't see Bill Maher as right wing. I just see him as a neoliberal, you know? All right. Mr. Elu says that Bill Maher doesn't believe in vaccines. Yeah, he said that before. I think vaccines are effective, but I do think that have you ever watched that show, The Nick? It's pretty cool how you can make a vaccine on the fly out of, what's it called? Like smallpox vaccines. If you crush up the crust, you can make that. I would prefer if vaccines were made, and we have the technology for it without the preservatives. You can just make them at the hospital on demand. That way there's no controversy around them. It just has the pathogen. I also think they should remove the indemnity because I think that's ridiculous. No one else has that privilege. But yeah, Bill Maher, he's been on that vaccine thing. He believes in the not in germ theory. He believes in the dirt theory. He's a wacky guy. I don't know how he gets away with it. But we have to move on to Bill Maher, something else, because we have to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I have never liked Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's starting to redeem herself, dude. Marjorie Taylor Greene is becoming a whole other person. She's actually being like the most rational person in the country. I did not expect that. She's coming to the center. She's being a sensible centrist. She's being nice. She went on Bill Maher. We're going to watch a little bit of her interview with CNN where she apologized for ratcheting up the rhetoric. And as I always say, dude, I always say it. I never thought that Richard Spencer would have a turn. Even Richard Spencer saying it. He's saying that he likes this development. And Richard Spencer's like a liberal now, you know? He's like, oh, she's actually cool. She's a good way to fight Trump. So let's see her. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay. She went on Bill Maher. And let's see what she had to say here.
I mean, you talked to him, right? He's mad at you now. He's mad at both of us. I know he's mad at me, but we still...
Actually, I've got a great relationship with the president. I've always supported him and gave him my support for free.
Yeah, but you are finally the one Republican who's dissenting. I was going to do a whole piece on you, and then we find you booked on the show, so I'll just say it to you. Like, for all those people on the left who've been saying, where is the Republican who will stand up on issues against Trump? I mean, they're just such ass kissers. They just fall in line. Well, right here. I mean, you've dissented on the Epstein files. You've dissented on a number of issues. Health care. Where's my list? Okay. ICE. The government shutdown. He's spending too much time overseas and not enough here. And you know, the Obamacare one. Let's talk about that one. I mean, I would love to know what the Republicans really want to do about health care, which is the premiums are going to go up tomorrow.
Me too. I'm waiting for the plan. I haven't seen.
Now, what's important here is that Bill Maher is framing her out to be against Trump. He's framing her as an anti-Trump Republican. She did not endorse that view, which is smart. You shouldn't do that. You have to talk to people. You have to talk to. She quickly moved on past the subject with him. Okay, he wants to talk about healthcare. I'm not even going to address what you said. I'm still with Trump. I just have some differences.
It yet. That's been a lot of my angst. So a lot of the things I say are against my own party, but they're mainly my frustrations in Congress. I believe that Congress should be solving a lot of these problems. However, Congress is not solving these problems, and I have Republican leadership. You know, looking at Obamacare, it was passed in 2010. It went into place in 2014, and premiums have skyrocketed ever since. It was good for some that couldn't afford health insurance or couldn't get health insurance. But
she sounds like Tony Blair. She sounds completely sensible. Not neolib sensible, not Clinton sensible, but kind of like this weird MAGA nationalist, but wants to bring the country together sensible. And that's an interesting... I would like to see if she would talk to Zohran Mamdani. Because these two people are people that they have very strong positions, but they seem like willing to compromise to actually get stuff done. I know he's a mayor and she's a congresswoman, but that kind of character, you know, it's very interesting to see that.
For the middle class, small business owners, people that had to buy their own insurance, it has crushed them. And so I've been demanding
Obamacare has crushed them? Obamacare is what's hurt them?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, for example, when Obamacare went into place, it took my own family of 5 health insurance policy from $800 a month to over $2,400 a month, more than our mortgage payment. And that's what so many people have experienced over all these years. But here's the big problem, is it's about to skyrocket in January of 2025. Here's why I'm angry. The Democrats passed Obamacare, but yet the Republicans have never done anything to correct the problems that exist with it. And I blame my own party. That's absolutely wrong. And I don't think it's an easy thing to fix. However, it's something that we should have a plan for. And Mike Johnson, for a month now, cannot give me a single policy.
Look at that calling out her own party for not, because I agree with this. Dude, I'm not a big ACA fan myself. I don't think the ACA was effective or actually did a lot of good. The pre-existing thing makes sense because those high-risk pools before were pretty ridiculous. They were never going to work, these state high-risk pools. But she's the only one that I've seen that calls out, hey, the ACA may not work, but we need to have a plan. And she's calling out her own people. And dude, what happened to her? What? Because Richard Spencer, by the way, I think it might have been that Antifa guy that hit him upside the head. Because ever since then, it took him a few years, but maybe that's what made him more of a centrist, normal guy, you know? What happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene?
The idea, and I'm angry about that.
Is this your understanding of Obamacare, that it raises?
I can't stand Moynihan. Let's not even watch this. I can't stand this guy. All right, let's watch her here on CNN.
It's the political breakup heard round the world. President Trump severing ties with at least one of his closest allies, declaring, I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, even calling for primary challenges again.
She has not, dude, he looks insane. You guys may like Trump, you may dislike him. This effectively looks like a crazy person. These walls of text, The tweets used to be funny. I found them funny in the first term. Now they're just insane. It's schizo posting. It's schizo posting online against MTG, dude. Why would you do this? He kind of did this the first time around. I remember when he read a list of people that lost, including Curbelo, who was, I think he was my rep here in Florida. He was like, yeah, you get that for not supporting me. And it was kind of funny the first time. It kind of reminded me of like Saddam Hussein's purge. But this time around, it's just walls of text on the internet. And no one's going to read all this. No one's going to read all this crap.
Against his one-time loyalists and attacking her as, quote, wacky, a ranting lunatic, a rhino, and a traitor. This is days before the House of Representatives is set to vote on releasing the Epstein files. It's a stunning breach between two MAGA leaders, one of whom is here with me now exclusively for her first interview since the president cut ties. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, thank you so much for being here. As you just heard, and I know you saw, the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his...
And I don't know what she did. She's laying off the makeup, which is nice. She looks, look at this. She's responding to this crazy old guy yelling on Twitter. As this completely, I mean, what is that hairstyle? I'm not a lady. I call every hairstyle an ombre. It's not an ombre. I know an ombre is different. But her hair looks normal. She's not Botox to the brim. She has some Botox, but she looks like a normal lady. This is the best response you could give. She naturally looks like a CNN anchor. She looks like the adult in the room compared to this guy posting schizo posts on Truth.
Administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing
It's about time someone from the right comes out against this Charlie Kirk debate culture, dude. I'm critical of Steven Crowder for this. I'm critical of Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. This has hijacked people's minds. It has made them drop family members and friends. And she is the first establishment, let's call her establishment for the sake of this, right-winger, or conservative even. She strikes me more as a right-winger, but a conservative maybe, who has said, stop debating, stop fighting your family. There's no point to this. It's stupid. It's about time people start delivering this message, man. This is why I'm so anti-debate. This is why I hated what Charlie Kirk did. And I'm glad to see someone saying this.
He said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened?
She's literally saying, let's tone down the rhetoric. Let's tone down the rhetoric. And I believe her. I think she's being sincere. I don't know what got into her. But thank God that someone's being the adult in the room.
What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations, and I stand with survivors.
Very cool to know it was the Epstein files. We're running out of time, and I really want to use the new graphic, guys. So we're going to go to the Master Wizard. I'm sorry about the chats, guys. I just really want to show you how the super chats go back into the show, because this graphic is so good that we made for Peers Watch, because we're going to watch the master wizard, the master baiter, the master debater, Piers Morgan himself, talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene with his circus of hyenas. Let's watch it. Let's get the graphic.
Hang on. No, sorry. I hear you and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much. Say the M word. Go on.
So let's watch Piers. What did you think of the graph? It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. It's some good audio clips too. All right. Let's watch Piers with his hyenas. We have here Scaramucci. We have Michael Knowles. We have Officer Tatum. We have Cenk Uygur, who I'm actually okay with. Normally I would but yeah, he's been better. And this is Brian Taylor Cohen, I think. I don't really have an opinion on him. Let's watch them talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Arias, this is a great graphic. Let's play one more time. I'm very proud of this graphic. I'm very happy with this one.
Hang on. No, sorry. I hear you and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much. Say the M word. Go on.
I love it. Mr. Ela says the N word. I was like, no, put it at the end. It's so good. All right. Let's watch.
Yeah. So there's a connective tissue through all
of it.
Have investigations ad nauseum, so better to get ahead of it and not let them put their spin on it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Cenk, I want to bring in the other extraordinary part of the last few weeks, the remarkable transformation of Marjorie Taylor Greene from MAGA cheerleader and close friend of the president to the woman who's now the sworn enemy of the president. He calls her a traitor. And is now...
Now remember, it's important what Piers says here because Piers is a Trump whisperer. He is a wizard that understands Trump. So it's important to actually listen to what he has to say.
And really underpinning this is her conviction that the Epstein files have to be released and that the Trump administration has been blocking it. What do you make of this?
Yeah, so there's a connective tissue through all of this. So I'll start with Epstein and get to the split in MAGA. So, guys, we keep talking about it like it isn't solved. It's solved. He was working with Israel. He had an Israeli spy, an intelligence officer, stay with him over and over again for weeks on end. Every email from Ehud Barak's emails and drop site news shows that Epstein was doing everything he could to help Israel. So, and why? Oh, Trump's uncomfortable. The Democrats are uncomfortable, but yet somehow they don't release it. Why not? Because the one thing that both parties serve is Israel. Who has enough power to kill someone inside an American prison and have the videotape not work and the guards be off? Intelligence agencies. Obviously, this is already solved. So now the connective tissue. So the reason why Trump's base is upset is...
It's crazy that Piers didn't... Hang on. Bro, Cenk Uygur just said that the Mossad killed Jeffrey Epstein in prison in America. They send the Mossad hip squad, and he's saying... Dude, yo, that's a wild statement. And Piers is just letting it happen. Piers knows how to bring the heat, man. He knows how to bring the heat.
Because the core of the promise was America first. And now they have Trump get into office. First he says, no, I'm not serving you guys. I'm not releasing the Epstein files. Then he says, okay, nope, I'm going to bomb Iran and I'm going to do whatever Israel wants. Israel is first. Then it goes way beyond that. Then it goes, okay, I don't care about affordability anymore. Hey, tax cuts for the rich, subsidies for oil companies, and all the things that never put Americans first, the donors first, whether they're oil companies, pharmaceutical companies, or the Israeli lobby. So,
and by the way, this is important too because I haven't mentioned this. Piers, this show, Uncensored, started on TV, and then he moved it online. But it's back on TV. And when he first announced it, I was confused as to why. But what he's doing, he's avoiding the fate of Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson is not on TV anymore. And if you know about this, Trump has told him that he does not care what he thinks anymore because he's not on TV. But Piers deliberately put his show back on TV. Okay? And now he's allowing Trump. This is a benefit to Trump in some ways. He's allowing Cenk to give in the opposite position. And Trump may actually take this seriously because it's on TV. And he's letting Cenk say that Trump is a sellout to Israel. Like, unchallenged, he's letting him have the monologue instead of interrupting. This, in some ways, is telegraphing to Trump, in my opinion. Otherwise, why would Piers keep the show on TV?
Marjorie Taylor Greene comes along and she says what MAGA's been saying all along. So now what you guys have to understand is that Trump's voters, in my opinion, and I'm curious what you all think, are in three buckets, right? One is independents who listen to Rogan, Young Turks, Theo Von, Tim Dillon. Those guys just hate the establishment. And they'll vote for anyone who's an actual enemy of the establishment and a populist for the American people. So those guys are already gone. I mean, you see it in the younger voters. Trump used to have an 8-point lead. Now he has a 55-point deficit. So an independents and the young are gone. Then there's a bucket in the middle, which is true MAGA, the original MAGA, America First. And I disagree with their social issues, et cetera. But that's Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Tom Massey, et cetera. And then the third bucket is Trump loyalists, the ones who say, oh, yeah, of course, everybody's eating cats and dogs, and Trump couldn't wait to release the Epstein files, and this was all a trick and a chess game and all that. Those guys are hopeless. Trump could say anything and they'll believe it. And in fact, the rest of the Trump voters are now looking at them like, are you guys nuts? Like, wake up to what's going on here. The establishment is screwing us, and it turns out that Trump is part of the establishment. I don't think anyone can argue that Trump has more original pro-MAGA positions than Marjorie Taylor Greene. In fact, Piers, I did a poll on X about this. Marjorie took an 82-18 lead against Trump as to the true original MAGA. And then Cat Turd and others, the Trump loyalists, comes in. They have tons of votes going for Trump. And then it went back and forth all day, 66,000 votes. And at the end, Marjorie Taylor Greene wins. Why? Because most of the people that watch online media now realize Trump is just another guy in the establishment, another elite, and he's doing the same.
He cut him off only once he got through the whole analysis. I am not surprised if this is an attempt to lobby Trump from Piers, because Piers likes Trump and Trump likes Piers, to actually engage with his supporters. There's no way. You know Piers does not allow people to go on and on like this. And he's having it said from someone in the media, someone who's not Daily Wire, someone that is an impartial actor in the eyes of other people. Okay? Cenk Uygur, sure, he's a progressive from the TYT world. But at this point, he's kind of come into the middle. And so I'm not surprised. This is either an attempt to encourage MTG and what she's doing and build a movement around it, or to telegraph to Trump, hey man, this is why the discontent is happening.
Exact thing as all the other corporate Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, Brandon, what do you think of that? Because I do think there's some merit to this. I mean,
and now we have Brandon. Dude, this guy's terrible, man. Brandon Tatum is like the funniest grifter of all time.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has been going out there and talking in a way I've never heard her talk before, and it's definitely resonating with people. I see a lot of people in the MAGA movement who actually agree with her. A lot of people don't, but I don't think Trump calling her a traitor is necessarily going to work in the way he hopes.
Well, I disagree on that. If you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, she switched. She didn't. It's not that she continued in the MAGA way. She continued with America First conservatism. She's completely switched. She was just on television saying that Donald Trump shouldn't deport all these people at one time because it hurt the people who are working on her at her company. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene has changed her position on so many different things. She just apologized on CNN and said she's sorry for contributing to the rhetoric. Marjorie Taylor Greene, her whole the reason she's popular is because she went against the grain. It's because she challenged people on a day-to-day basis. And now she's apologizing to CNN for it. She says Trump has accomplished nothing since he's been in office. He's completely turned on America. That is insane to me. You're talking about the border crisis that we experienced that have been matriculated throughout our society in so many negative ways. Donald Trump has brought an end to that. Ask the people who live on the border. Ask the people who patrol on the border. And then you go off into other aspects. I think he's trying to do his best when it comes to tariffs to bring revenue back into the American economy. And it's not that
Is this what a MAGA-tard thinks? Like pure Brandon Tatum? This is Kim Jong-un level shit, man. Just downloading all my thoughts, not to get too Delusian here. All my thoughts are coming in from Trump. I'm going to completely support. Dude, this looks pathetic compared to this analysis that Cenk Uygur just did. This is pathetic, man. I don't understand who are the Brandon Tatum fans. I've seen some of his stuff. Let's see.
easy. Nobody is willing to do it. So Donald Trump is willing to do the hard thing now so we can benefit later. But for Marjorie Taylor Greene to go off the reservation to say all of these different things, this is why he called her a traitor. This is why people think that she's changed. And I would add to this, and Shank, he laments to this all the time, this has come down to Israel. It's the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken a position on Israel, and everybody that loves to hate on Israel will take her side. And Donald Trump has been supportive of Netanyahu. He's been supportive of things in Israel. People begin to turn on him because of that. And so it's a twofold thing. She's turned all her values.
Schenk was doing mind reading, explaining Marjorie Greene's position, okay? Brandon's doing mind reading. Mind reading is not great. You should not mind read. You should try to understand where people are actually coming from. But if I have to choose which mind reading is better, I have to go with Schenk's. So suddenly, in the words of in the thought, let me mind read. Let me psychoanalyze Brandon Tatum here real quick. So Brandon Tatum says basically that Marjorie Taylor Greene became an anti-Jewish, Jew-hating Nazi, and that's why she's broken with Trump. She's apologizing to CNN. Which CNN, I guess, is a Jew-hating, gassing, Holocausting Nazi organization. These two things are not compatible to me. They're not compatible to me. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And I think any viewer can clearly see this. It's not unusual for Piers to bring on the dumb guy in order to give the dumb position and discredit it. This is the dumbest explanation I have heard for Marjorie Taylor Greene's turn. That she suddenly became a Nazi. And Nazis go on CNN, I guess. Not, Hitler was on CNN all the time.
Views have completely changed, which is why Trump thinks she's a traitor. And the people who hate Israel is going to follow her, and the people who love Israel is going to follow majority of what Donald Trump says.
Brian, let me just play you the apology she made.
Yeah, it's MAGA versus MIGA.
It's
America first versus Israel first.
No,
hang on, Cenk. I want to play
and it's about, do we control our own government?
Okay, Cenk, I want to control our own government. Hang on, guys.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Hang on. I want to just play.
I don't know, what are you thinking?
Hang on.
I would love to see them do a boxing match, dude, because they have similar builds. You know, Piers knew what he was doing, bringing on these two fellas, dude. Look at Michael Knowles. Even Michael Knowles is like, dude, this wizardry is too much for me.
Come on, guys, please. I want to play the clip that you referenced there,
Israel has
Brandon.
no power
I want
in
to play the apology
that's a joke, right?
that Marjorie Taylor Greene made. Let's take a look at this.
I would like to say humbly, I'm ticked.
It's
not about. I am going knives.
Damascene conversion. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you could argue, and I'm going to interview her after I speak to you guys, has been one of the most toxic people.
It's also notable, look at these guys. All of these guys are in suits, and Brandon Tatum came on in a hoodie. You think Piers doesn't know? Dude, Piers knows what people wear, dude. He's a wizard. He brought on all these guys and him to be the straight guy, and he brought on this guy to be the magatard. Look at that.
In the political discourse space in America in the last few years, saying some deeply inflammatory, violence-inducing comments on occasion. Are you buying this dramatic U-turn?
Do I think it's coming from a place of true honesty?
All right. We're running out of time, so I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to watch some more because I love Piers, but that was Piers' watch.
Hang on. No, sorry. I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much. Say the M word. Go on.
The Great Wizard, man. The Great Wizard. Let me catch up on the chats here. Dude, when there's a lot of chats like this, guys, please at me or super chat it. You don't have to. If you at me, I'll read it. But it's just hard to find because you guys have a lot of conversations here. Let me see. Well, dude, this is tough. Schofield says, MTG learned the game and entered wizard territory. Is MTG a secret witch? Is she a wizard? Is witch inherently negative? I'm wondering because in Harry Potter, I never read or watched the Harry Potter movies. Do they call them witches? Because witch feels negative, but she could be a witch. I do agree. She's playing it good. Squid Games. All right. Thank you guys for loving the graphic. You guys talking about Kyle Kalinske, who I think Kyle Kalinske is an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy. He's warmed up to me because I did not like his initial stuff, and I still think he's a bit of too much policy and thinking that numbers will save him, that we will be able to fix this. But it's in the nature of. I mean, he's a millennial, right? He thinks he's more DSA aligned. These guys think that they can fix things. I'm in complete disagreement. You call me a nihilist, but it's just me. Mr. Elu says, didn't the Mossad probably kill I think they did kill Robert Maxwell. I think that's not. I think that one's like confirmed, right? Efra says, I like how one of the purest hearts. I am not into people's politics. The people I like are the ones that are not fake and have a good heart. Does not matter what political view they have. I agree. I like to see people that are earnest, and it's hard to find people that are earnest these days. Everyone is hiding behind irony. I completely agree, Efra. Gary, what's up, Gary? Obviously, it's Mossad. That's why Democrats don't want them coming out. Oh, you mean the Epstein stuff? All right. Well, we might know more at the end of the week. Schofield says, that's a crazy panel. Cenk the Turk, the thin blue liner cop, and the Mooch. Dude, I don't know how Scaramucci still has an audience, because Scaramucci is just insufferable. He's insufferable. He worked for Trump for like 30 days. How does that make him a Trump expert? Effer says, Trump's troubles come from deep psychological issues from childhood. His dad most likely influenced how he thinks. His ego wins out in the end. I do recommend you watch the movie The Apprentice. It's biased, of course, but it's a very good movie that gives you a little insight there. And then we have Gary's. I don't think that's what matriculated means. I want to look that up because I feel like Brandon is the type of guy to look up big words on purpose to try to use them to impress people. Mr. Ela says, Officer Sadam sounds like a dumb cop. Dude, it's a way of speaking too. I agree. All right, guys. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. As always, I'm going to have it in the description. Pick up what would Piers Morgan do? Unaffiliated, unendorsed, completely parody bracelets. I have mine on right now. This way you know what the master wizard is thinking at all times. Or what would a postmodernist do? I'll put the procedures below. It's 1 for 10, 2 for 15. Very reasonable price. We only have 100, but I'm keeping 2, so that puts it at 98. And we've sold 3, so that means that there's 95 left. You will never have the red colored what would Piers Morgan do bracelet again. It'll be in the description on how to do it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share the channel, guys. We're growing at a pretty fast rate. The clips have helped a lot, and organizing the channel has helped a lot. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all the chats, but you guys, I watch the replays just to see what we can improve on the show, and I do always read all the replays of the chats, so I will get all the information downloaded. If not, as I said, guys, join the Discord, join the Patreon. Now there's the cheaper tier, the $5 tier. But if you join the Discord, we can really crowdsource information, always in the comments and stuff. That helps out. I think, Discord's pretty lonely, guys. Let's get some people in the Discord. That way you guys can help me suggest stories, suggest perspectives. We can all actually think about it together. Let me put it up here. This is the Patreon. As you can see, I added the $5 one just because I know $20 is a lot, but that gives you the private Discord server. And here's our Discord. I'll put it in the description. Let me put it right now, actually. Let me put that shit right now in the description. Why not? I'll put it in the description of the video so when you refresh your browser, it's there. All the info about the Patreon, about becoming a member, and all this. I'll put that right there. Boom, it's there. Save. All right, and can I comment it on my own stream? No, I have to wait for the stream time. So with that, everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate all you fellas, Mr. Elo, Audio Vibes, Aria, Gary, Schofield, Robert for the big super chat, People's Press. And ask you, how's Germany? How's Germany, People's Press? Ephra, our member. Who else we got? Who else we got in here? We had a lot of Foil Hat, my friend Foil Hat, Pajarito Lindo, You Poop Toop, new guy, all right, and Street Cat Munchies. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm going to make a video tomorrow, and I'll be streaming tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.